Hello guys, welcome to today's DNA. Today is 20th of November, Thursday. Okay. Before we begin our discussion, let's have a food for a thought. This is a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. UPSC has also asked this quote in ethics paper. A man is but the product of his thoughts. Whatever he thinks, he becomes. Okay. He means to say that whatever you think, however you think about yourself, that inspire your actions. Your actions inspires hard work, your action inspires consistency, and your action inspires focus. That gives you result. Okay. So this is also very important for our UPSC preparation. So with this thought, let's begin today's discussion. These are the topics that we are going to cover today. Let's begin our discussion. First, we will go with the prelims topic. First topic is the invalidation of Tribunal Reforms Act that UPSC has recently. So with this thought, during COVID, government came up with a Tribunal Reform Ordinance 2020. Later, certain provisions of this were struck down by the court. But after these provisions were struck down, Parliament reinstigated the struck down provision in the form of bill, and it became Tribunal Reform Act of 2021. In its recent Supreme Court judgment, the Supreme Court has said that whatever we had struck down in this ordinance were reinstituted, were put back through this act. Okay. So they have said that this is nothing but the same wine in a new bottle. Okay. So they have struck down this provision again. This provision mainly relates to the tenure, the involvement of executive in the judiciary, and reducing a number of judicial people in the tribunal system. Okay. With this going ahead, we see a similar question asked by UPSC in 2009 prelims. Okay. So tribunals have been a favorite area of UPSC. If we see the background of it, tribunals were introduced in Indian Constitution through 42nd Amendment Act, and later it went through certain changes as per need and as per need of the time. So through 42nd Amendment Act, Article 323A and Article 323B was introduced that gave the power to executive to constitute tribunals. Okay. Later, we know a certain debate about judicial supremacy versus parliamentary supremacy is there since the beginning of the constitution. The separation of power is not very strict and it keeps on overlapping. That has given result to a lot of Supreme Court judgments. So this is in line with the same thing. Okay. So if you see this, yeah. So what are the key areas of conflict with respect to this act? They mainly cater to the control over appointments, fixing of tenures, service condition, and whether tribunal decision can be directly appealed to Supreme Court. If you directly appeal to Supreme Court, so you bypass the High Court. But in its SP Sampath Kumar judgment, they have already said that tribunal cannot replace High Court. Okay. So this judgment was already there of 1987. Later, this was built, certain other judgments were built upon this in 1997, where they had struck down where the tribunals were given the power to bypass the judicial review under Article 13. Okay. So it was considered unconstitutional and this provision was struck down. Later, in Madras Bar Association case, there are 4 cases spanning from 2010 to 2021. Okay. Many provisions were struck down. You can see excessive executive involvement, selection committee, independence of judiciary. So main provision of all these striking all these down was to ensure independence of judiciary. Okay. So independence of judiciary. So this was done. Going forward, that's all I think you need to know for this context. So this is the act that whose provisions Supreme Court recently struck down. Old wine in a new bottle. Okay, they have said used very strong word that said that old wine in a new bottle, the bottle may dazzle, but it does not cure the underlying defect. Okay, underlying defect is the taking away the judicial independence part of it. Okay, let's come to the second news of the day. A Desi gene editing technology to aid cheaper and commercial gene editing crop breeding. Okay, so please keep in mind that this is gene editing and not gene modification, the GM crop that we study. Okay, not gene modification, this is gene editing. If you see, there is an institute called CRRI plus ICAR. Okay, these are the Agricultural Institute of Rice Institute and Agricultural Research Institute. They together came up with certain variety of rice using CRISPR-Cas9 technology, that is gene modification technology. Okay, but they were not given commercial rights due to intellectual property rights, due to patent issues. Okay, due to patent regularity, they could not commercialize the rice variant that they produced. Therefore, we came up with a Desi new gene editing technology. Now, what is the difference between gene editing and gene modification, GM crop? Okay, in GM crop, a foreign entity is introduced in the DNA sequencing of the gene, but in the gene editing, there is no foreign element introduced. Whatever already exists is modified. Okay, so this is the basic difference between gene editing and gene modification, GM crop. Now, this has been a favorite area of UPSC, so you can see the questions. Coming to what are the benefit and how gene editing is much better than gene modification. Okay, so this is gene editing is smaller in size. It's almost 1/3 size of what is GM crop has. Okay, so since its size is smaller, it's easier to deliver. It has better penetration. It has higher success rates and obviously lower cost. Okay, now what is the function of TNP beta? Okay, so before we see this, yeah, transposon associated protein. Okay, TNPB or TNP beta as someone calls it. So this is a miniature protein. Okay, this is a miniature protein and functions same like the Casper. Okay, guided by RNA. It is a seizure. It is a seizure, and the RNA is the navigator. Okay, it cuts the DNA at precise target site. Okay, no pre-existing global patent is there, and India has gained the patent. Okay, so now we can commercialize it. Okay, we can commercialize it. So that is the benefit. You will have to remember here about TNP beta or TNPB. This is CRRI plus they together have come up with this technology. Okay, so that's all you need to know for this part. Let's go to the third news of the day. Okay, so these are the advantages. Mainly the advantage lies in the small size and cheaper variant. Let's come to the third news of the day. So recently India celebrated National Epilepsy Day on 17th of November. Okay, on 17th of November. Apart from National Epilepsy Day, we also have International Epilepsy Day that is celebrated on the second Monday of February of every year. Okay. Now, what is epilepsy? If you see what is epilepsy, epilepsy is actually a neurological disorder. In our brain, what happens? we have electrical signals, electrical activities going on in our brain using neurons, okay, the connection that we have in brain. Now, sometime what happen, the connection increases, okay, abnormally, increases abnormally, okay. So, whenever the connection of the brains, the electrical signals of the brain increases abnormally, people tend to lose their composure, maybe they might see an up and down in emotions, maybe in their physical activity, in their mental stress, and even there are instances where people become unaware or subconscious, they become unconscious also, okay. In the event of seizure, I will tell you what is seizure. Many neurons send signals much faster, okay, this is on the faster side, this is on the higher side, okay, much faster than the normal. The surge of this excessive electrical activity may involve involuntary movement, sensation, emotion and behaviors. Now, there are times when people become unconscious due to various other reasons, okay, but we will consider this a seizure when there is a gap of at least 24 hours between two events of becoming unconscious, okay, 24-hour gap between two events of becoming unconscious, okay, and the reason of becoming unconscious has to be unknown. This is very important. The reason has to be unknown, then only we consider this seizure to be an epilepsy, okay. In India, the epilepsy National Epilepsy Day is organized by Epilepsy Foundation of India. This is an NGO. Their main target is to spread awareness about epilepsy. Now, coming to what are the reasons, there are myriads of reasons. There are genetic reasons, there are physical reasons, there are mental stress and various other reasons. Anything can trigger. There is no exhaustive list of what can actually trigger epilepsy, okay. But what we know that epilepsy is generally triggered where there is lack of hygiene, there is lack of proper nutrition, apart from the physical and mental stress and genetic reasons. Okay, if we see globally, India has almost 20% of global burden of epilepsy, okay, 20%. Now, the issue is the social stigma attached to epilepsy. Particularly in the South Asian and African country, the instances of epilepsy is very high, okay. Out of this 40 million, around 80% of the epilepsy are in underdeveloped or developing nation, okay. So, this is a huge challenge. Now, what government is doing? Government has come up with National Epilepsy Program, okay, in 2015 to spread awareness. In this epilepsy program, they are using district mental health program to spread awareness, okay. Apart from this, the Right of Person with Disability Act include epilepsy, okay. So, disabilities include epilepsy. Then we have Rashtriya Bal Swasth Karyakram, epilepsy recognized as a, so this is mainly for the children between the age of 0 to 18, okay. So, we are covering children also. So, this is a comprehensive measure that government is taking, okay. Now, going on to next news of the day. So, recently a tiger has been sighted in the Ratan Mahal Wildlife Sanctuary of Gujarat. This Ratan Mahal Wildlife Sanctuary is in Dahod district. So, Dahod falls in the tri-junction of Gujarat, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Interesting fact about Dahod, a very famous Mughal emperor was born here, okay. If you can name him, this is the birthplace of Aurangzeb, okay. So, this is the birthplace of Aurangzeb. So, recently a tiger has been sighted there. So last time the tiger was sighted in Gujarat was in 1980s. After that, it was considered locally extinct. Now again, after 40 years, we have observed a tiger in the region. Okay. Tiger has been a continuous and very interesting topic and question for UPSC, both in prelims and in mains. Okay. Now, going forward, tiger returned to Gujarat after 40 years. Okay. So after 1960s, this is the first time, was the first suspected nine months prior. Okay, and it has been photographed multiple times and is showing that it's healthy. This is very important, that it's healthy, because generally tiger leave their territory only because of two reasons: either in search of their territory or when they are unhealthy. Okay. So since it's unhealthy and therefore it is considered that it has went out to in search of territory. Now when it has went in search of territory, means this area has now become conducive for rehabilitation of tiger again. So this is a very good news for our wildlife. Now, so this is a this region is a part of Bunny grassland. Okay, this is Asia's biggest grassland. You must be knowing about this. Apart from this, we have tiger extinction in Gujarat. Historically, tiger lived in Ratan Mahal and eastern forest of Gujarat, because there was a continuous tiger corridor that historically existed between the state of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Now, due to loss of prey, they went out. Now they have come back. So since they have come back, a few prey have been reintroduced, like boars and deers have been reintroduced in the region. Why tiger return? Mainly because of the ecological reason. Okay, as we discussed earlier. Now, there has been a conservation effort from the government side as well, and it has fructified very well. Okay, International Big Cat Alliances, TX2 campaign, then we have National Tiger Conservation Authority under Wildlife Protection Act, we have Project Tiger, we have tiger census every 4 years. Okay, tiger has not been asked in past 3 to 4 years. The tiger can be very important this year for prelims perspective. Okay, now something about Ratan Mahal Tiger Reserve. Ratan Mahal Tiger Reserve, Dahod district. The most important part, it's very famous for sloth bears. Okay, so it's very famous for sloth bear, and this forms a ecotone zone. Okay, ecotone zone between semi-arid Gujarat and central Indian dry deciduous forest. If you write in the comment section what do you mean by ecotone. Okay, what do you mean by ecotone region in terms of environment. Now, if you see, Gujarat is one of those states. India has 4 major big cats. Okay, Gujarat has 3 of them. Apart from Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh has again 3 big cats. It inhabits big cat. Now, they host tiger, leopard and cheetah. There is a plan to reintroduce lion in Madhya Pradesh, mainly in Kuno National Park. They have planned it. And if you see in Gujarat, Gujarat have lion, Gujarat has tiger and Gujarat has leopard. Okay. Cheetah reintroduction is being planned in the Bani grassland of Gujarat. Coming to 5th news of the day. Okay. Recently, India has revised the royalty rates for key critical minerals. So now there are 30 critical minerals. Please read about these critical minerals. UPSC has been asking question on this, particularly if with respect to prelims. Now, the royalty rates have changed. If you see, there have been a geopolitical tussle with respect to critical minerals, okay, mainly due to semiconductors and due to the global uncertainties and geopolitics being played out. Apart from this, India is 100% dependent on import of critical minerals for its industries. So it also puts India in a vulnerable situation. earlier India used to have a fixed rate of royalty, 12%, fixed rate of 12% was imposed on mining of any critical minerals or most minerals, okay, rare earth minerals and critical minerals. Now, India have revised it and linked this to ASP, okay. So, this has now been linked to market. Now, what is ASP? ASP is average selling price, okay. So, they have linked this to ASP, making it more accessible and more lucrative for the private sectors and mining sectors, okay. So, India's new royalty regime for critical minerals. So, these are the minerals and the royalty have been updated to 1% and 2% for different minerals. Please go through the details of these minerals, okay, recently. Now, as I spoke that there is a geopolitical tension, okay. India depends on import of critical minerals. Apart from that, we are pushing towards EV, semiconductors, solar power, etc. Okay. Now, this has been a continuous process since 2022. This was being conceptualized during COVID and it has been implemented. This news is a continuation of this improvement that is going on with respect to making mining lucrative for the private sector. Okay. Now, coming to why the royalty changes matter. Royalty changes average selling price, okay. This will boost domestic exploration, reduce import dependency and global supply risk, as we discussed already. Now, what is ASP? ASP is the weighted average. You do not have to know all this much, you just have to know that this is an average selling price and this is linked to market directly. Now, what is India's situation? This is a very important thing to see. 84 blocks were notified, but only 34 were bidded, okay. So, the bidding was not lucrative. So, India struggled with exploration, processing technology, policy stability and infrastructure. Now, this movement of government to reduce the royalty rate should attract more mining companies and more private players, okay. Now, why critical mineral? What are critical minerals used for? They are used mainly for the defense batteries and EV sector, semiconductor and all these things. Where are they supplied from mainly? Okay, 95% of the US demand of rare earth mineral come from foreign sources. More than 50% of the critical mineral comes from foreign sources. At least 12 critical mineral come exclusively from foreign sources. So, these are the challenges that exist. What are the benefits? What are the benefits of developing a supply chain of critical minerals? Okay, so reducing dependence, supporting the creation of new manufacturing jobs, secure diverse, whatever we have discussed, it will cater to all those issues. Okay, coming to sixth news of the day. Recently, economic advisor to Prime Minister have written an article on Indian Express, and he is saying that there is service sector and there is manufacturing sector, and service as a sector needs manufacturing, okay, needs manufacturing to expand. Okay, there is a very interesting YouTube video by Veer Das, okay, where he says that I come from to India. Okay, now this article says something similar to it, where it says that there is a IT led service sector which is high paying, very high paying and is very affluent urban upper middle class sector, and there is a supporting that manufacturing sector which is mildly paid, which is lower middle class. Okay. Now, according to this article, they are saying that absence of manufacturing sector is dividing, is making this gap larger, okay, is expanding the gap between service sector and manufacturing sector and the inequality in society. Therefore, we need manufacturing sector to expand service sector, okay. So, from manufacturing sector, you can give job to a lot of people. When a lot of people get job and get money in their hand, they have a better disposable, they have more disposable income which they can actually spend and avail more service sectors, and this will also help in boosting service sector. Let's see. So this is the PYQ, prelims PYQ, that was asked by UPSC in 2022, and there is a mains question. Mains question in such themes are very repetitive and recurring in UPSC. Okay. Now, why this is in news? Manufacturing and service sector are complementary and not competing. Okay. India's goal to raise manufacturing. This is a very important part. India's goal is to raise manufacturing by up to 25% by 2035. Employment challenges for manufacturing sector. Okay. Gig economy, women empowerment, AI and automation. Service sector is growing fast but is dualistic. Dualistic in the sense of the division that we spoke about. Okay. The high paying IT jobs and the support economy that is there. Manufacturing share is not stagnant, although it is increasing, but this is not in consonance with the service sector. Okay. India led service sector model manufacturing remains crucial for all these things. Okay. Now, what is the government sector that is driving, government policies that is driving manufacturing? Okay. So, what the government is doing? Government is investing in Make in India, PLI scheme, okay, and National Logistic and Gati Shakti, Skill India program, and all these things. Government is investing in to support the manufacturing sector. Okay. Now,